All right, guys, we're back. Treadmill Talks, and today's episode is going to be about notch counts. Should you even care about it? Do they matter? How do you find out? All the things, all the experience that I have on this topic. We'll try to fit it in 30 minutes. Hit the subscribe button. You know the drill. If you've been watching for a few episodes now, I know you're too lazy to scroll down and hit that button. But boy, I need you to go down and hit that button so that you don't miss future episodes. Okay, notch counts. Let's start this video off with, do they matter? Well, in the context of females. I'm assuming my audience are all male, right? This whole video is gonna be male towards the female, okay? The other way around, we can talk about that in another episode, but do notch counts matter? So the answer to that in a nutshell, yes, depending on what you're looking for. Now, there's so many lanes I can take this topic. I'm just trying to I'm assuming that most guys that watch these videos are interested in long-term relationships, LTRs, in which case the notch count means something very different compared to the girl you have fun with, right? And if you're just looking to have fun, the notch count means absolutely nothing. Like, why the hell would it? I mean, STDs and safety aside, right? Like if anything, if you're looking to have fun and you're looking for a wild girl, you want that girl that's got that experience, you know what I'm saying? They are a lot of fun. They're a good time, let's put it that way. You would never date one of these women, though. Never. These types of women, in my experience, these types of women usually try to find validation and connection through sexual intimacy, which usually means that they have some kind of psychological problem or like abandonment issues, something like that, right? Like, these chicks are crazy, like, they're nuts. Which is good, which is a lot of fun, right? Remember in the last video how we were talking about the rubber band push and pull? These girls are very easy to fall in love with when you're young because, man, they will take you for that ride. But in that context, notch count doesn't matter. But let's go over to the LTR part of it. Notch counts and LTRs. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. I've kind of tried varying. I've had like virgins. I've had small numbers, large numbers. I've kind of tested it all in a certain way. The longest LTR that I had with a girl with a large notch count was like 8 months. That one had a lot of strange problems that I just wasn't willing to deal with. And that was kind of before the pandemic, like 10 years ago, even more now, where like I didn't understand what liberalism culture kind of was. So one of the examples of dating a girl with a large notch count in an LTR was like their psychology is so different, man. Like it was like constantly bashing heads with this girl. I have one specific girl in mind that I'm thinking about, right? She was like friends with all of her exes, all of her friends with benefits, like the guys that she had friends with benefits with, they were like her friends, and they all just kind of like hung around each other. And like dude, it was like the craziest shit. And like the other guys that had banged her were also like fist pumping and like bros. And like, so I guess in that scenario I was like the conservative one. So to me, I'm like, what the hell is going on? This is like it was the biggest eye opener I've had in a long time. Now I know what it is, but back then I had no idea what the hell that was, right? So anyway, I'm like, this is the weirdest friend circle I have ever encountered in my entire life. They all just like share partners with each other and they think that's normal. It's like they don't have the gag reflex or whatever. So anyway, here's what happened with that one. You might be asking, how the hell did that end up being an LTR? Well, it wasn't supposed to. So it was like, what had happened was I was like seeing her for like a month and then like kind of, you know, you're not like dating her, but you're like in that friends group, you're getting to know people and all that stuff. And you're like, oh yeah, bro, we all hit that already. It's like not a big deal. It's just fist pump kind of shit, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I guess it's just my turn, I suppose, right? Like it's kind of messed up. And then I was like, she wanted the relationship, right? And I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? I was like, there's no way. She's like, why? What's wrong? I thought we have great chemistry and everything's working out good and et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, that's all true, but this shit that you got going on over here with all your exes and all your, past friends with benefits and all that stuff, it's like, I'm okay being your friends with benefits too, but I'm not gonna be the chump that has a relationship with you knowing all those guys banged you in that friends group. That's fucking ridiculous. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So anyway, long story short, she, now looking back, I don't know if that whole friend circle was brainwashed by liberalism or not. I don't know what the hell that shit was, but she was so shocked at how my reality was not okay with that. Like, she was like flabbergasted almost. She was like, why would that be a problem? Like, she was so, like, the idea of, I don't know why I'm telling you guys this story, but the idea of her being friends with all her old fuck buddies was not okay, was so out of her reality that it shocked her, right? And I'm like, you do you, but I ain't engaging in this. This is not like that. I ain't down with this shit, right? So anyway, this was before I knew about the red pill and all this shit, right? This is before I was what you would call an natural alpha, I guess you could say, or a natural red pillar. I always trusted my gut on things that felt weird, but I couldn't articulate what they were, right? So like, when that whole friends group tried to like shame me into being like, oh, it's fine, bro, don't worry about it, bro. I'm like, my gut is telling me that's not okay. I'm not, like, no, right? You gotta listen to your gut when you don't know what's going on, listen to your gut, right? So anyway, she had actually cut off every single one of those guys for me. And that's how the LTR started. I'm like, you know what's so funny about that? Again, I didn't understand dude, I was such a naive idiot back then. This was after my 7-year split, right? So I'm like, is this what the dating world is nowadays? Like, I was like, this is fucked, right? So anyway, she cut off all those guys for me. We actually had a really good relationship, to be fair. She kind of more adopted my friends group kind of thing, right? And then, we had a shit ton of fun together. It was actually quite functional. Everything was good. Like, it all worked out. And then anyway, after about 6-7 months or whatever, one of the friends with benefits she used to have tried to like contact her and get in contact with her. and say he's like having a hard time paying rent or something. He was trying to get back in her life in some degree, right? And then I don't remember how I caught them. I caught her messaging him, and her explanation was like, oh, he just needs help. He's just a friend. He's been my friend for like 20 years. It's like I didn't tell you because I knew you'd be upset about it, kind of thing, right? I'm like, what the fuck is so... Long story short. Sorry for the ramble, but long story short. These girls that have high notch counts in long-term relationships, they just have a different psychology, man. What this girl said was, she's like, I cut them all off for you, and then I did that because I wanted you to see how much I cared about you and I was into you, and that you wouldn't feel insecure about having them around after 6 months or so. I'm like, I was blown away. I was like, how did you not know that was so inappropriate? I'm like, we could have just not done this. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what are we doing? I was like, you knew that I wasn't down with all your exes, and then you cut them all off for me as like a ruse temporarily to try to like make me fall for you and then get them back slowly. Like, I'm like, this is the most twisted ass shit I have ever encountered in my entire... Like, the length that this girl went through to try to lock me down was fucking crazy. The sex was amazing, though, I'll tell you that much. That girl had experience. Anyway. As soon as I found that out, I was fucking gone. I had no idea the level of crazy of these liberal women, man. I had no idea. You know what's so interesting about that? This episode ended up just being storytelling time. You know what was so interesting about that? I have a vivid memory of going to their family's house, and the dad was a putz. It was like the dad, the mom, and 2 daughters. And I'll never forget this. So we went, she wanted to buy an apartment, and I was going with her. Like, she brings her man to make sure that she makes the right purchasing decision for an apartment, right? Her dad and her mom come along and all that. And she fell in love with this, like, rundown studio that had, like, mold on it and shit. She's like, I want to buy this one and fix it up. I'm like, do you have the skills to fix it? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, do you know the first thing about getting rid of mold and sealing wood and all this kind of shit with lacquer and all this? She's like, why are you busting my dreams? I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, that's the weirdest, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the delusion, man. I got another story about this girl, too. I was like, that's fucking delusional. That was the first red flag. Anyway, I went up to her dad. I'm like, I'm paraphrasing. I'm like, bro, shouldn't you want to prevent your daughter from buying this fucking place and wasting her time? He's like, oh, you know, whatever they want to do, they want to do. I didn't know what that meant at that time, dude. That should have been my, like, I gotta get the fuck out of here, man. So basically what had happened was the guy got worn down so much, like the dad, he was so worn down by these women that the women had to become men. They had to become alphas in that household to compensate for their putz of a dad, right? Oh, dude, I could talk about this shit forever, man. Trust. Anyway, let's get back to the notch count thing. Dude, so if a girl has a high notch count, avoid these liberal chicks. Okay, let me, I have a couple more stories about this. These liberal women have like this bubble of entitlement. It's hard to describe. It's like this video completely went off the rails, guys. It's so fun. I have to get this off. Apparently, I have to get this shit off my chest, okay? It's fucking hilarious. But like, these liberal women, they have this like bubble of entitlement about them, right? And if things don't go their way, they don't actually want to get better, they get bitter, right? So another example, like, and it borders on the delusion of actually endangering themselves. I got another story about that too. So one time, we were painting this room in my house, right? We had moved in together at this point, temporarily. And we were painting this room in my house, and she was like, I want to paint this room myself. I got this. I'm like, okay, go ahead, right? Anyway, she completely fucked up the entire room. Didn't know how to paint. There was lines everywhere. Didn't know how much pressure to apply, how many coats, all that kind of stuff, right? But she didn't ask either, right? So anyway, I'm like, why didn't you just ask me to help you? What the hell? She's like, I wanted to do it on my own. And then I was like, well, yeah, but now I gotta go back and do double the work to fix your mistake. So you just created more work for me. Why would you do that, right? Because her ego, as the man of the house, because her dad was a putz, she wanted to prove that she could do it as well, right? Which she fucking couldn't, right? So anyway, and then I remember, look, this is why I avoid feminists now, like the plague, brother. Like this was my first experience with kind of like a liberal feminist type chick. And like, I'll tell you what broke us up. This is when I kind of like never talked to her ever again. So there's a hike here in Vancouver. And the reason why this was the final straw was because my safety was actually on the line here because of her delusion. So there was this hike in Vancouver that's like 9-10 hours long. It's a long hike. It's not particularly dangerous. It's just very long, right? And you gotta have good cardio. You gotta have good joints. You gotta have good ankles, good shoes, all that kind of stuff, right? Anyway, so she's like, yeah, me and my friends are gonna go on this hike. I'm like, okay, cool. She's like, do you want to go? I'm like, no, like, how long is it, right? She's like, oh yeah, 10 hours. I'm like, what? I'm like, wait a minute. You're going on a 10-hour hike? She's like, yeah. I'm like, you haven't gone on a hike in your entire life. I don't think going on a 10-hour hike is the smartest move when there's bears and cougars up there and shit, and you might get stuck up there after dark. Like, nobody's coming for you. Right? Like, logical thought process here, right? Anyway, she said, I'm going anyway. No matter what you say, you have a choice to come with me or not. I was like, she like ultimatumed me on this fucking 10-hour hike, brother. And then, so I'm like, at the time, I was lifting weights and stuff. I had good cardio. I'm like, I have to go so this girl doesn't kill herself. Like, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I have to go so she doesn't kill herself. And here's the dude, oh my God. Yeah, I gotta get this off my chest. We go on the hike, and guess what happens? On the way down, she started crying because her ankles were hurting and she couldn't go anymore. And it was like 5 p.m. at this point, and the sun was going down. And I'm like, holy fuck, we gotta get the fuck off this mountain now, right? I literally put her on my back, like piggyback style, and I carried her down the mountain for 2 fucking hours. to make sure that we didn't die. Here's the thing. Her friends left us. They went on ahead. And they weren't like concerned with her safety. They were like, we'll go on ahead, we'll meet you guys down at the bottom. And they like left me with my girl. And I was like, so this girl is fucking delusional. Her friends don't tell her that she's delusional, and they bail on her when the going gets tough. And now all these people's problems are my problems. Anyway, thank God nothing happened. We got down to the bottom of the mountain, and I never talked to that girl ever again. Because now my safety, I could have been mauled by a fucking cougar or a bear. Some shit. Anyway. Dude, some of these feminist, liberal women are insane, dude. Insane. And she was so like, I am a strong, independent woman. I don't need no man. She was such a that type that she literally thought going on a 10-hour hike was a good idea without ever training for one whatsoever. She like, I can do this. I'm like, holy fuck, dude, holy shit. Like, holy shit, brother. Anyway, so it's been 22 minutes. Man, we'll have to save the notch count topic for another one. This actually just ended up being conservative versus liberal women, didn't it? Anyway, so, but it's funny though, because like, it's all kind of wrapped into one, isn't it? It's like, this girl did have a higher notch count. She did. And she was quite normal. I thought at the time anyway. But she was like liberal. She was feminist. She thought she was equal to men. Like physically, that's what I mean. Like, she thought that like nothing bad, like, she was just that type, man. As opposed to the other girls that I've dated in the past, mainly Asian ones, with much, much, much lower notch counts. Man, if you ever see me on a live stream on my tech channel, and you ever hear me say, I hate white chicks, that's why. It's that one. It was like one of the few white chicks I ever dated. Actually, all white chicks I've dated were kind of kooky like that. But this one was the cake on top, man. Anyway, so other than the dudes all kind of being friends with benefits with her and all that stuff in that circle, how you actually find out if they have a high notch count is you actually, I kind of stumbled onto that by accident. So because I was such a natural alpha, I wasn't like I wasn't acting or anything. So when I found out that those other guys were like friends with benefits and stuff, it made me uncomfortable, but I also wasn't dating her, so I didn't really give a shit. It's like, okay, it's just my turn kind of thing. Sure, whatever, I don't care, right? But that also made it come across to her, I guess, as if I was like fine with it. Do you know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to tell you is the key to getting a girl's notch count out on the open is to pretend you're fine with it, even if you're not. You need to play the game. If she smells that you're not okay with that shit, she will lie to you, she will scheme, she will, especially, okay, what this whole situation was in a nutshell was she was targeting me as kind of an unconscious plugged in alpha. Like so I had come out that 7-year relationship, right? I wasn't really sure what was normal, what was not normal. And she saw me and she's like, I'm gonna target this guy because he doesn't know any better, right? I'm gonna manipulate him. I'm gonna swindle his ass. I'm gonna try to lock him down. So I banged all these other dudes, but I'm gonna lock this guy down because he doesn't know any better. I was a target, basically, right? I was an ignorant target. Now, when you are an ignorant target, trust your gut. I thankfully, I always did have a trust in my own gut. So when something felt wrong, obey the gut, my friend. Obey the gut. Do you know what I'm saying? So you could, if you're one of these guys, you could be a target. So if she can sniff out that you are not okay with large notch counts or whatever, yeah, she'll manipulate you and try and lock you down and just lie right to your face. And you'll find out 20, 30 years later. Like these women, the liberal ones, like it's really what you're looking for, really, are the women that think that they can do whatever a man can do. That's the real. And if you find that they are kind of delusional, like they say shit, like another one that happened was like, she tried to cook a turkey dinner for Thanksgiving and fucked the whole thing up. And then I had to cook it after, another one, and mine came out perfect. And I never cooked a turkey in my entire life, right? So she resented me for that so much, man. So how you can detect that you're with a woman like this is she's not proud of you for excelling in something, especially if it's the same thing as her. If you're both doing the same activity and you're better than her at it, if she's not proud of you, if she resents you and becomes combative, you have a major, major problem, major red flag on your hands here, brother. That's a huge problem. Because then her perception of reality is never gonna be that you guys are a partnership and that you're working together. She's always gonna approach everything as, I can do that too. I'm just as good as him. I'm just as good as any man. Get out. Get out while you can. Okay? Anyway, that was literally 28 minutes of me venting about one girl that I had an experience with once. Well, anyway, hopefully you guys learned something on that one. Trust me though, I'm like, in all seriousness though, in the next one, I'll really dive into the tactics and how to really pinpoint if a girl does have a high body count or not. For you less experienced guys, for you more experienced ones, you already know how to sniff that shit out. It's kind of like, it takes one to know one. When you know what I'm saying? You can see them and they can see you, kind of thing, right? I'll explain what that means in the next video. Anyway, guys, subscribe if you liked the story. If you want more stories, leave a comment down below. Share this video with your friends that are dating feminist, woke, liberal girls. And I'll see you in the next one. Later, guys.